They literally tried to get in the van.
I hear somebody walking outside.
Meet Love Sundays, or as most people know him, Shawn. He runs a YouTube channel built around something most of us only dream about: camping under open skies, snorkeling in hidden coves, even surfing along quiet stretches of coastline. He lives out of his van, traveling across the UK, sharing every breathtaking place he stumbles into. But this trip was different. Shawn had driven down to the Cornwall coast for what was supposed to be a simple getaway, a bit of surfing, a bit of snorkeling, nothing he hadn't done 100 times before. What he didn't realize was that this trip would leave a mark on him, one that would follow him through every night of van life that came after. Before settling in for the night, Shawn stepped outside the van. He just wanted to check his curtains, to see how much light slipped through, to see how visible he was from the outside.
Okay, so I'm outside. It's pretty dark, as you can see. Really dark, actually. I'm just going to turn the lights on. Let's just see what we can see. So, if you ask me, that looks pretty dark. Okay, I need to get back in the van before people notice.
From where he stood, the van looked dark, quiet, almost invisible, safe even. But Shawn may have stayed out there a little too long, because what happened after he climbed into bed would change the way he saw van camping forever. He locked the doors, he settled in, and then, not long after, he reached for his camera again, only this time, he was recording something far more unsettling.
I just heard something outside.
Someone was outside the van, knocking on the side, trying the door handle. Shawn froze. He didn't move. He didn't make a sound. He barely allowed himself to breathe. It was the kind of moment no one ever prepares for.
What?
Luckily, whoever was out there seemed to realize the van wasn't empty and chose not to push it any further, but the damage was done. That encounter shook Shawn to his core.
They literally tried to get in the van. It wasn't just a knocking, they were trying the handle.
Worried they might come back, he carefully stepped outside, just to make sure no one was still lurking in the shadows.
My heart was pounding then. I mean, they were either trying to move me on or trying to break into the van. Either way, not pleasant. I think that if I'd heard them coming in more, I've got a metal pole here. I could have just got out and not done anything. I'm not moving.
He found nothing. No footprints, no figure in the dark, no sign that anyone had ever been there. He climbed back into the van, sat quietly on his bed, and tried to make sense of what had just happened. Sleep was out of the question, not just for that night, but probably for many nights after. Still, Shawn knew it could have gone much worse. He never had to reach for the pole he kept nearby for protection. So what about you? If you were in that van, what would you have done? Let us know down in the comments. Larry runs a YouTube channel called Work Less, Enjoy Life More. His content follows him through truck camping trips and off-grid adventures across the American Southwest. Wide open country, remote forest roads, places where the nearest town might be an hour's drive in any direction. It's the kind of life that looks peaceful from the outside. On June 2nd, 2022, Larry was camped deep in the Mogollon Rim region of Arizona. Dense ponderosa forest, no neighbors, no noise, just Larry, his 2 dogs, and the kind of quiet that usually makes for a perfect night out. That night, the quiet didn't hold.
Oh yeah. I hear somebody walking outside. They knocked.
After dark, something outside the van pulled him to attention. Larry reached for his gun and stayed exactly where he was.
They're walking around the camper.
Whoever was out there didn't leave. The footsteps continued, circling the van slowly. Larry held his position, listening, his body coiled tight. Minutes passed. The sounds kept coming. Something about the movement felt deliberate, unhurried, like whoever was out there wasn't lost or confused. They knew exactly what they were doing.
I can still hear them walking outside.
Then it happened again, another knock, and this time, something followed it. A slow, dragging sound moving along the length of the door, something hard being pulled against the metal, unhurried, methodical, the kind of sound that doesn't leave room for innocent explanations.
One more knock. Just one knock.
Larry didn't move, didn't make a sound, and eventually, the noises stopped. He barely slept. When morning finally came around 7, he stepped outside, and something was immediately wrong.
This chair was over here by the table last night when I went to bed, or the last time I went outside.
His camping chair had been moved. It was now positioned directly in front of the van's door, facing outward. Whoever had been circling him in the dark had also rearranged his camp, had sat or placed something in a spot that looked like a vantage point, a place to watch from. That single detail, more than the knocking, more than the footsteps, made it clear that this wasn't a random encounter. Larry packed up and left, heading north. Less than half a mile from where he'd spent the night, he passed a lone tent sitting by itself in the trees, basic, minimal. No one was visible around it. And then, almost immediately after, a truck parked on the side of the road, dark colored, and behind the wheel, a man, sitting still, staring directly at Larry as he drove past.
I haven't seen anybody. I haven't seen another person in miles and miles. I haven't seen anybody. And what's the deal with the truck? The guy in the truck. There was a guy sitting in a truck on the side of the road. Like a dark colored Ford or something. I think it was a Ford.
Miles down the road, the feeling hadn't left him. The footsteps, the dragging sound, the chair moved in the night. The man in the truck who said nothing and looked away from nothing. There's no clean ending to a night like that. No confirmation of who was out there or what they wanted. Just the weight of knowing someone was close enough to touch your things while you slept and chose to make sure you knew it. Who do you think was outside that van? Leave your theory in the comments. Mimi loves the wilderness. She loves it so much that one day she packed up her entire life in North Carolina, moved into a camper van, and started waking up somewhere new every single morning. Her whole channel is built around that lifestyle. Life on the road, life off the grid. But when you spend enough time out in the wild, strange things start to find you. On this particular day, she's parked deep in a remote forest campsite, miles from the nearest town, looking for nothing more than a quiet day to herself.
Good morning. I slept so hard. I don't want to get up, but I must. Oh, how's my hair? There's literally dozens of campsites. Dozens. Or at least more than a dozen. What are you doing? So weird. Okay.
She woke up slowly, got herself moving, and headed out for a walk to shake off the morning.
Okay, I'm done being a bum. At least for a little while. I'm gonna go get my steps in. Ooh. I moved just a little bit so I can get some more sun. Solar panel, not that there's been much today. It's been an overcast day. I feel like I'm emerging from the cave. I don't know what got me yesterday, but something got me. You can almost see it. Look at that. You see how it's kind of swollen? It hurts real bad. It does hurt, actually. Rude. That was fucking rude. Oh. The farther you come over this, oh, you can see so far. I have to zoom in with the... I'm just gonna get a few steps in. It did rain for a little while. Made for a wonderful, lazy day. I'm gonna see if I can make it a little farther this time. I don't know why I'm so freaked out. I feel like, what if it's a driveway or something? And I'm gonna keep going, but...
Her plan for the day was simple. Cook a few hot dogs over an open flame, sit by the fire, breathe in the quiet. So she got the fire going and settled in.
In there like that, yeah. Ooh, now it's cooking. All right, let's see if this is better than yesterday. I have a feeling it's not gonna be that drastically different. It's just heating up a hot dog, but you know what, maybe it will be. Maybe it'll be the most delicious hot dog ever in the history of time. It's way better. It's way better than charred wieners. Heck yeah.
But just as she was enjoying her meal, she heard something, a car, approaching, out here, in the middle of nowhere, and that's when this happened.
Hi,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm a little lost and I'm hoping maybe you can kind of help me. He was hiking around the Linville Gorge and this is telling me to turn here and go obviously through that gated area, which doesn't look like a thing,
yeah, no.
to get to his pen. He pinned me there.
Okay, well I'm assuming you did a trail, right? Like a marked trail.
Yeah, but he said he was like on the side of a road and he's throwing up and he's like, come get me. I just drove from Raleigh.
Oh, dang.
In my work clothes.
Oh my gosh, so you really are?
Yeah, I was like, I'll be right there.
Oh god, yeah, that's far. Okay.
Do you have...
I guess he doesn't know anyone out this way that would have something.
No, he traveled up here by himself.
Oh.
Thought he'd be all like crazy.
Well, we've got quite the situation. Apparently down that road that I was just walking down, about 2.5 miles, her son is very sick and needs her to come get him, but she can't get past the gate. And there's no other entrance way because I just hooked up my Starlink to see. There's no other way down there than through that gate, which is very locked. So she's calling 911 now to see if they can come help.
You don't make cool. You pull it on this side. We're gonna have a bunch of rescuers coming in.
My son.
Is that your son?
So where do you want me to move? Okay.
How far is the river about on the service road? On the map says walk pit, so there's going to be the new walk pit that he's on, probably about 2 miles total in from the gate.
All right, EMS and emergency services are coming out. They're gonna go get him. He's about 3 miles down the road. Well, we're thinking this guy has the key to unlock the gate, so realistically, you wouldn't need EMS services because she can go get him, but this guy's apparently really sick down there. She said he's not one to complain. He's been hiking for maybe 2 days. And he was going to set up camp about 2 more miles down, but then he started getting real sick and throwing up a lot. And he called his mom all the way from Raleigh. She drove a little over 4 hours to get here. She's still in her work clothes. So I told her to sit with me at the fire to stay warm at least, but she's so nervous. I understand why. I mean, my gosh. This night's about to get a little bit crazy up in here. All the campsites to pick. I mean, that's wild. I hope he's okay.
Nothing else.
Would you look at that? I don't really know what to do with myself. They're all kind of leaving right now. Bye-bye. Have a nice evening. Alright.
Sometimes, even when you go far enough to escape the city finds you anyway. Eventually, they did locate her son. And honestly, this whole situation is a reminder of something we don't talk about enough. When you're out hiking, camping, or disappearing into the wilderness, someone should always know where you are. Carry a tracker, carry a way to communicate, and in some cases, think twice about going completely alone. This wasn't exactly a terrifying encounter, but it shattered the peace Mimi had been chasing. Thankfully, the woman's son turned out to be okay, but it really makes you wonder, what if he hadn't been? What if he'd been seriously hurt, deep in the trees, with no signal, no help, and no way out? Sometimes it's these quiet moments, these close calls, that remind us just how fast things can change out there in the wild. Mimi got her quiet afternoon interrupted. That young man got a second chance. Both of them were luckier than they probably realized at the time. Chelsea Maxine runs a travel and survival vlogging channel built around solo adventures, raw, unfiltered, and first person. She doesn't shy away from the uncomfortable parts of traveling alone, the uncertainty, the isolation, the moments where something feels slightly off and you can't immediately explain why. This particular video captures one of those nights. It's November 18th, 2021, somewhere on a remote rural road in the United States. The sun is going down, the roads are emptying out, and Chelsea is still driving.
Actually, I saw a sign, and this is why I got off on this exit to get gas. I saw a sign that said campground. What if we go and stay at a campground tonight? I did think of it as a nice place to sleep tonight. It's safe, secure for our first night.
With evening closing in and the countryside growing darker and more sparse around her, Chelsea stops briefly to fuel up and thinks about finding a campground for the night. Somewhere with other people nearby, somewhere that feels less exposed. She locks her doors, steadies herself, and keeps moving. The road ahead is long and largely unlit, and the further she goes, the more the silence starts to settle in around her.
I just pulled into this church really quick. There was no one there. Like, there was no cars in the parking lot. Oh no, man. Oh no. And then I started hearing noises inside my car. I'm sitting there. I didn't move the car. I didn't get out of the car. But there's noises in the car. What was that noise? Oh my God.
At some point along the route, she pulls over near a small, isolated church. No other cars, no movement. And then, almost immediately after she stops, the lights in a nearby house switch on. The timing is hard to dismiss. Whether someone actually noticed her or it was pure coincidence, it's enough to make her pull back onto the road without hesitating. Some situations don't need to fully develop before your instincts make the decision for you.
Like, you guys, he's right there again. The same freaking truck. At least he's kind of backing off now. I don't know. He's still really close, but he was just on my butt. And I just really don't like it. And I don't like that he was pulled over.
Further down the road, a truck appears behind her, close, too close, riding her bumper on a narrow, dark stretch of road with no one else around. She tries pulling over to let it pass. The truck slows when she slows. The tension that had been quietly building through the night sharpens into something much more immediate. Traveling alone after dark on an empty road is one thing. Having someone that close behind you, with no clear reason and no sign of backing off, that's something else entirely.
It is a freaking truck. Oh my God.
By the time the night is over, Chelsea has moved through several hours worth of unease without a single moment of clean relief. Unexplained noises, lights that switched on at the wrong moment, a truck that stayed too close for too long. None of it was catastrophic, but together, it paints an honest picture of what solo night travel on remote roads can actually feel like. Casey Johnston uploaded this video on March 30th, 2025. At the time, she was parked alone in a small, quiet town in southern Utah, traveling in her self-converted camper van with her cat, Olive.
Good morning, you guys. I hope you're all having a lovely day whenever you're watching this. If you have seen my other vlogs, you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, that was a really short morning montage, because usually I would show you guys me making coffee or breakfast here in the van, and that is just not what happened this morning. In fact, Olive and I had a fairly unsettling morning, and I'm going to tell you guys about it.
The morning started wrong before she could even name why. She woke earlier than usual. The van was still, the kind of still that doesn't feel restful. It feels like something waiting.
So just for some context, we are in a very small town in southern Utah, and we have already switched spots, but the spot we were at last night and this morning was actually a big dirt pull-off off the main road going in and out of town.
She was parked on a large dirt pull-off just off the main road through town. Around 7 in the morning, while working on her laptop, she noticed a black car moving past on the road outside. The speed limit was 40 miles an hour. The car was doing maybe 15 to 20. It moved with the kind of deliberate slowness that doesn't have an innocent explanation on an open road. She watched it pass and tried to let it go.
I started working on my computer and recording some footage for the vlog, and I noticed at about 7 a.m. a black car went past us very slowly on the main road here. The speed limit is 40 miles an hour, and this car was going maybe 15 to 20 miles an hour, which struck me as odd, but they kept driving, so I really didn't think much of it. Until about 5 minutes later, the same car came back down the road and pulled off into the same lot as us and actually drove behind the van.
5 minutes later, it came back. The same car. It turned off the main road and pulled into the same lot she was parked in. 2 men inside. They drove to the end of the short access road, turned around, and began rolling back toward the van. Slower this time. Much slower, as though they were measuring something.
There were 2 men in it. One was driving and one was in the passenger seat. And they actually went up a little road that was behind the lot that we were parked in. And they got to the end of the road, turned right back around, and then very slowly started coming back down the road towards the van. So this whole time I'm sat up here in the cab area very discreetly trying to watch what they're doing out this driver's side window. But once they got close enough back towards the van, I actually moved from up here into the back area because that is where I keep my safety items.
Casey moved from the cab into the back of the van. That's where she kept everything she might need in a situation she didn't want to be in. From back there, she lost sight of the car, but she didn't need to see it. She could hear it. The engine came to rest right alongside the driver's side of the van, idling close enough that the sound filled the space around her.
Back there, so I lost my visual of them, but I could hear that they pulled their car up right along the driver's side of the van, and they actually honked their horn at us.
Then they honked. One sharp blast. Deliberate, not accidental. The kind of sound designed to get a reaction. Casey didn't give them one.
And after I didn't respond to their honk, one of them got out of the car and came up and started knocking on my driver's side window.
When the horn went unanswered, one of the men got out of the car. Slow, unhurried footsteps came around to the driver's side window, then knocking. A woman alone in a van, in a quiet town, with empty desert stretching out in every direction, and two strangers standing at her window demanding a response. She gave them nothing.
Which I also ignored. And just to clarify, this was not a police car, this was not a security car. These were just two dudes in a car. So a couple minutes after I ignored the knocking, they finally left.
The knocking stopped. They got back in the car and pulled out onto the main road.
And it is surrounded by very desolate areas, so the last thing I wanted to do was immediately try to leave town, drive out into the middle of nowhere, and have them follow me. So I was looking up on my phone options for places to go, and I kid you not, 30 to 45 minutes later, the same car comes back down the road and pulls off on a street just up the road from us.
She started looking for somewhere safe to go, but this town sat at the edge of long, open desert roads. The last thing she wanted was to drive out into that emptiness and have that car appear in her mirror. Then, 30 to 45 minutes later, the black car came back, parked up the street, just sitting there.
Oh, these guys are up the street and now they're just watching you. So I decided to come here, about 3 minutes away to a local breakfast joint. I didn't see them follow me, and I haven't seen them in the hour that I've been sat here now.
She made her move. A local breakfast spot, about 3 minutes away, somewhere with people, open windows, and the kind of visibility that makes certain kinds of behavior impossible. The tension that had been building in her chest all morning, she was counting on the crowd around her to finally make it stop. And that's it for tonight's video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. New videos drop every week and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Drop a comment below. Which story got to you the most? Or share your own if something like this has ever happened to you. Stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next one.